moving around at the speed of I got out of Halo. That plus also Moon Knight, Sonic, Ezra Miller, kind of a jerk. All that and more. Bryan, hit that music. Let's do this. From 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, in the heart of Uptown Whittier. This is Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 93. My name is Nick Valero.
Bryan.
Rene.
And welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hey, did you guys notice? Didn't read it.
He didn't read it.
Oh, woo!
That was my clipboard.
I know it. It only took 93 episodes.
That was my clipboard.
Why did you give me mine?
I don't know.
Because he was being nice.
I just grabbed one.
I was like, oh, it's my clipboard. If it's broken, it's broken.
It's broken.
If it dies,
like
it
my
dies.
So you could see that that pretty much Rene, or not Rene, Nick has no care in the world for anything that doesn't belong to him.
Bro, I Ivan Drago'd that thing.
That's
I was
true.
like,
Right? Oh my god! I don't think we mentioned it in the podcast before,
What?
but when did I bring my lightsaber first?
Yes.
And then you started swinging around all over the place. You're just like, I'm just like,
And
dude,
then
relax.
I brought mine, and then he starts going, yeah, it's working pretty good.
And you're just kind of like, stop.
in all
Your
fairness,
ass was laughing, and I was just like, and, then when it's yours, you're just like dead, stale in the face, going like, stop.
They're built to hit things.
No,
okay? That's the
they're
way they're
not.
built.
They are, but
They're built like that,
I just built it.
which means you can break it. Come on, let's go.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, let's
They're too precious.
Let's have a lightsaber fight.
They're
Let's
too
do it.
precious.
Plus, I don't go to Disneyland a lot, so if it breaks, it's gonna be a while before I go back.
Well, even if you break the tube, it's like $20 for a replacement because they have the shorter ones too. They have replacements.
They have the stubbies.
Yeah, they have the shorter ones, so that way if you're trying to do tricks, because the long one is too long.
Yeah.
You can't do like flips and everything like that.
Yeah, it's too long to do tricks. Right?
I didn't know
Isn't
that.
that the problem?
Hey.
So real quick, we do have a handful of topics to talk about today. So a couple of announcements. I know last week I did say that by the time issue 92 was going to be up, the review for X was going to go up, but that wasn't the case. I had a lot of editing to do. I've had a lot of things on my plate. So the review of X is officially up as of recording today. So it is on our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com. Hayden was the one that reviewed it. We have a couple other articles at work as well. I know Miguel and Adam are working on a couple things for the website. So keep an eye out at keepingupwiththenerds.com. And if you have not started following us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, anytime we update our website or release something new, they will be up on there. So keepingupwiththenerds.com or check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Keeping Up With The Nerds. Our Real Addiction also released a new podcast as of Thursday where they watched Hamilton for the first time. I
was kind of shocked at that.
Yeah.
I'm actually more surprised that it took them this long. It's been sitting.
We've seen it on Disney Plus.
We've
almost
been
listened
out
to
for
the
a year now.
soundtrack. I went to go watch it live with my fiance.
I went to go watch it live before it was cool.
I'm sorry. Do you want a freaking trophy?
Yeah, do it.
No, you don't get anything.
Can I get a Thanos?
Moving on.
And I know, because
I'm inevitable.
I know that this is, I don't want to take away from that episode, but what is it? Adam didn't like it, huh?
I don't
I think
so.
He didn't like it.
haven't.
So I was kind of
listened to
shocked he didn't like it.
Did you listen to the
I
issue?
listened to
Okay,
it. Yeah.
I didn't.
He didn't like it?
He didn't like it.
Dude, he's fired.
I mean,
This is how he finds out.
Dude,
All right, hey, Adam,
I'm
we're gonna
gonna block him
you
on
need
the
to go on
Discord.
Discord right now.
I'm
and
gonna
go to
block him
meeting room 2.
report to meeting room 2 because if you're not there by 2:00 tomorrow, you're blocked.
So what you do is you tell him to meet you in meeting room 2, and then tell him to meet you at 3 p.m. but be 30 minutes late. So he's on the channel just waiting with anxiety, going like, "Why are they calling me to meeting room 2?" You walk in, you have a notebook, and go like, "I'm so out of."
I feel like we really need to do that for the bit.
Because all I'm gonna do is you missed your shot. Now walk
What?
out. Now get out. And he'd just be like, what does that even
You'll
mean? And I was
be
like,
back
oh, you didn't even understand it.
You'll be back soon. You'll see.
So I know that Our Real Addiction and Keeping Up with the Nerds haven't really been working together over the last couple of weeks, and it's only because we're in that transition process. I think we mentioned it when we first brought him on, that this was going to be a slow transition because we're prepping for year 3.
Yeah.
We are 7, technically, quote unquote, 7 issues away from issue 100.
Wow.
So that is going to be the start of year 2.
Year 2.
Sorry, I said year 3. Year 2. Thank you for that. Year 2.
This
know,
is Brian's doing. Because
It was so,
zero
it was,
year.
it was so funny because I did this and you kept going with 3, and then in my head right now I was like, is it year 3?
No, it's year
like
2.
You made me reevaluate.
I mean, technically,
my own information.
it's technically. Was it our third?
Because the idea
we would be hitting on year 3.
The idea of year 0 is because that was a foundational year for you guys.
Yes.
That was when
Yes.
that's when you guys were establishing the podcast, figuring it all out. Year 1 is when sexiness came in, and then year 2 is when we bring sexy back.
I mean,
you know?
obviously, between year 0 and year 1, we've changed a lot.
But
there was a lot.
There was a lot, and that's why I don't like referencing year 0 as technically year 1, because from that point on, 1, you got more comfortable being in front of the mic.
Yeah.
We've
And
started
camera.
developing our personalities in front of the camera. My editing skills went from like novice to beginner to kind of intermediate, at a point where like now I started getting comfortable making the thumbnails and figuring out tricks with Premiere and
the
Audition.
show is vastly different.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
If
a
you
lot more
if you were to
drill.
take this show compared to episode 1, it's vastly different.
Yeah.
I
the
mean, for
tone's
one,
different.
you guys, it sounds different. It looks different. Everything else, even like the thumbnails, everything's different.
And people, it's surprising because now more and more people. Okay, we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, right? So actually, before we go on
Was
with
that before or after we cuddled?
No,
It
that
was,
didn't happen.
before.
Check out keepingupwiththenerds.com for all the information. Again,
see the
Our Real
cuddle video.
Addiction, Hamilton episode. Go give them a watch. Go give them a listen.
Yes.
Wherever you guys listen to the podcasts. Other than that, I think that's it for the announcements.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
except for go to the OnlyFans, keeping up with the cuddles.
Okay, moving on.
Keeping up with the nerds.
we
Can
had
you
this-
keep up with us?
Because we're going fast.
So we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, you and I, Rene. You were like, oh, I don't know if I kind of like, because people ask, like, what do I do? And, I told them that I have a podcast, but I don't know if I want to say it.
Because the conversation came up because like how you tell people we have a podcast or like we have a brand and stuff. I don't like being that guy that's like,
Yeah, I got a podcast.
I got a podcast. I talk about this. Like, I don't want to sound like that.
The only problem is that I've met multiple people that have done that, and I always found it douchey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always like really not liked because I remember talking to this one girl, and I take her like by Voldemort. She is someone who shall not be named, but 'cause I hate her so much, so hate her.
Wait, do we know this person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about it later. But there was this one time, it was my very first time meeting her. And then I was like, hi, my name is, Nick Valero, everything like that. And then she like gave me the 2 podcasts that she on, a blog spot that she works on, and then her name. And then I was like, you're talking to people right now.
Yeah, I don't like doing
we're not like, you're not pitching me a show.
Yeah.
You're like,
This is just like a casual interaction.
well, not only that, but also we were setting up to record a podcast. Like we were setting up to record a podcast, but the thing is that you were giving me your biography, like you were giving me like your like what you've done.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just talk to me normal. Like don't talk to me like just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pitch you something. Just talk to me.
Yeah.
So that's the
I
thing
think
is
that's
that,
gonna be a lot easier.
because I agree with that. It's like you don't want to sound douchey when you like say, oh yeah, I got a podcast,
or
right?
even pretentious,
or
as well,
pretentious,
too.
but
Yeah.
I get away with that by saying that I have a show, and I think it sounds more professional, at least in my sense, because I don't like to like proclaim, oh yeah, I edit everything. I have a podcast. No, I don't care about that.
Run the clip. Run that clip, Brian.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
go.
I'm the one editing. I have the power.
See, look, there it is. Yeah, I did it.
I think what helps for me,
And he did it.
I think what helps for me is that like we have it advertised here at the store. So when like people are like, "What's Keeping Up with the Nerds?" Like, oh well, that's my podcast. I do that, and stuff. For like people are like, 9 times out of 10, it's usually like, oh, I like the name a lot and stuff. And I'm like, what do you? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah.
I thought it was so funny because one of my buddies at work apparently found it. Like he found Keeping Up with the Nerds.
Did he really?
It just
I don't know.
naturally.
Naturally popped up on his feed.
That's so cool.
It naturally popped up because he has me on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Well, because he has my phone number.
So okay.
So my phone number is linked to mine, and then my Instagram is linked to the Keeping Up with the Nerds. So it eventually popped up in his feed.
Oh, okay. It got around.
Yeah, it went like the long way of getting to him. And then he was like, "Do you do a podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And he goes, "You never talk about that." And I'm like, "I'm at work, dude." Like,
yeah, because that's the thing
like,
is
I'm
you
at
don't
work,
want
like,
to
I'm not
keep
gonna-
showing off that you do the show, and that's the thing. It's like
well, not only that, but also it's not necessarily that's not really the like outlet that I'm kind of going for, and everything. Also, we do say I say some outlandish stuff.
That's
I do
true.
say some outlandish
Yes.
stuff for a guy who works with kids, and
I feel like you should really not say that.
as a guy who works with kids, I say some outlandish stuff.
and snip that for Twitter. That's going up there.
No,
We're getting
but-
canceled in 5 years, guys.
But I really do like at certain points like where I was like because there was because remember when we used to look for work at our first job, they specifically told us don't say like you better not do anything like outside of work
that could
mention
get us
about
in
it.
trouble.
that would
yeah.
get us in
Yeah.
trouble, like that would reflect poorly on us, and I thought and that also reflected on like podcasts.
So
and,
if
stuff
we
like
would have
that,
started this
YouTubing.
show
Oh,
while
you
I
would've
was still
been
working,
fired.
no, if we would have started the show while I was still working at Disney, we wouldn't be able to do it.
You would've
because
gotten fired.
Didn't you do your other podcast? When
yeah,
you were
but
at
that
Disney?
was undercover. Couldn't say anything about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
that's
was.
right.
Yeah.
He was. Quian Braquero.
No, but
he
they
went
would,
by a pseudonym.
So Disney technically has this thing where if like you work for them, I don't know like how to
I
what
thought,
extent
I thought if you worked for them and then you work on any other project, if it blows up, technically it's theirs.
they could claim it as theirs,
So-
but they also have their hand. It's not so much that they claim it, but they have a hand in like what you could say and what you could do.
I do
what-
have a friend that does a podcast, and he used to work for downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And for the duration of his podcast, until he stopped working there, he never mentioned he worked at Disney
Yeah,
at all.
there's that
Well,
danger.
the-
I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
It's just that's
Well,
what that's
well, no,
kind
but
of what was like
I
put
thought
out
it was.
there.
I thought it was interesting because I have a friend who works at Pixar, and she was really worried because she's been working on like projects and everything like that, like on the side, and she's like, yeah, like they're going to like festivals and stuff like that, and I'm really worried. And I was like, why? And she's like, because I still work for Pixar.
Yeah, it's
Like
tough.
I still work for Pixar, so
Yeah.
I'm really worried that like because they're like independent films that
Yeah.
she's like been making, like animating and then doing. She was like, yeah, I don't know if like I can get in trouble for it or if like they can technically call claim to it and stuff like that. And there was a lot of legalese where I was like, that's kind of rough. I think you need to start doing other stuff and like because I even asked her too. I was like, do you work on it at work? And she's like, I've done it a couple of times where I've worked on it at work when I was like on my free time. And
yeah,
I'm like,
that's where it gets a little dicey.
and I'm like, that gets pretty dicey. Well, not only that, but also like, I'll get into it later because
we have topics.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the main topics, quick shout out. So Ernie reached out.
Yes, I saw that.
So what was funny was that he texted me when we posted up the last issue.
Yeah.
He's just like Turtle. It's what they call me. That's how I knew him because I met him like in high school. It was my nickname in high school.
He said turtle leg.
Yeah, he said Turtle. He calls me Turtle. That was my nickname in high school.
And I always thought it was because your butt looked like a turtle.
No. Anyways,
I call you Boo Boo, so all right.
so he texts me. He's just like Turtle. I'm like, what? I was like, what's up? It's like everything all good? Because he usually doesn't text me. He usually messages me on Instagram. He's just like, why did you tell me you shouted my podcast out on there? And I'm just like, I'm sorry. It was a surprise. Like I wasn't supposed to tell you. But he said that he almost lost control of his car listening to it because he was so shocked. And I'm like, dude, but it got to that point where I'm just like, because that's the thing is,
I'm flattered. No, like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
legitimately
flattering.
flattered. That's
Yeah.
really flattering, but we're not. I would say
We almost killed a man.
We're not that big. I feel like.
But we appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So yeah. So After Death Brand, actually, they want to get me on the show.
That's
so we
cool.
can talk about it and because it's
You have my permission. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have mine.
you're social media manager. You're not main producer. What the heck?
But I
I'm
am
sorry.
co-founder.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I'm a co-host,
Yeah.
so I get say it too.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I can
I thought this was we started this together.
What is my Rene?
I don't need your permission,
So,
Rene.
you ever seen The Social Network?
Can I have my?
Yeah,
Just
right
wait.
now you just Zuckerberg me.
It's okay,
Bryan?
Rene. It's okay, Rene. We'll dilute his stock first. His stock gets diluted first.
Your stocks were like at 15%. Mine's were like at 25. What do you mean?
Only if it
So
counts
then
for.
who owns the other, like, I don't know, 50%?
Listen,
The public, maybe.
The public, maybe that depends.
Andy.
Yeah. And
She has to put up with our shenanigans.
Andy and Mandy, yeah, they have the last.
They have to put up with our shenanigans. So
That's true.
but
and then still love them.
shout out to Ernie for talking about that. And yeah, I'll be on their show after death after death podcast brand.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get it eventually. It's
I'll get
fine.
it
Yeah.
after death brand.
He'll correct you in the comments.
I saw I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And
Did you?
I recently saw their setup. They have a good setup.
Chris is actually like works with a lot of music and setups and stuff like that, so they know how to do.
It already looks like
they have a good
yeah.
production. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a good production. It's a lot of production magic. I'll put it that way. It's a lot of production magic and a lot of good techniques. So
same thing with
we'll get there.
I guess that's the same thing with even remember Steven's podcast.
Yeah.
Because the way it looks so like
and then you go into the studio.
It's
you're
just
like,
his room.
It's production magic. I
Yeah.
think that's what we try to do.
Dude, he did a lot of production back.
Yeah, so
Because
we'll get there.
that
We'll
room
get
looks really big, and then when you sit in it, you're like, this room is tiny.
That's the
Yeah.
thing is that people have always complimented us like, dude, you guys' production's really good. I'm just like, we're shooting on phones
yeah.
and mics. That's it. But hey, we're doing a good job.
At my
So that's
work
good.
after hours. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's better than a lot of other podcasts I've been on.
We
I've
will
been on
leave
a
it
few.
at that. So we are moving on to the main topics. Yes.
Yes. So get the hell out.
Yes, I'm out of here. So,
get the
ladies
hell
and gentlemen,
out.
they're going to be talking about Sonic 2, and I'm stepping out because
Yeah, and I told Bryan
as the major Sonic fan.
I told Bryan that he needs to sit in and
No,
I like how
do
he's
this
bringing this up.
content.
I know, right?
Doing this content.
We had a
and
5-minute argument about
I
this.
don't
We're not
care.
going to argue about it right now.
I'm letting the internet decide.
No.
If
Tell
whether or
us
not
now.
Comment down below. See who's right. Poll's going live.
You
we got a live poll right
you
now.
made
Was
me
Bryan
watch
wrong?
Morbius. You made me.
content.
Yeah, and sitting there and shutting up is content.
No, it's not. I've been waiting for this movie for over a year.
You should have watched it.
Yeah. But I didn't have the money at the time. I'm stepping out, ladies and
Bryan,
gentlemen.
get outta here,
Y'all
yeah.
are going to talk about Sonic 2 and editing Bryan. You're going to go ahead and cut right now.
You know you're still there, right? He's
Hey,
there.
editing Bryan.
Shut your mouth. man.
All right, and we're back. So, as you can see, Bryan is gone. He is being very immature right now and cannot just sit down and do content. So, we're going to talk about Sonic.
Yes.
Which, Rene, you like Sonic,
I
but
do
you're
like
not
Sonic.
like
I'm not a
super fan.
There's
You're not a
only
mega fan.
so when it comes to Sonic, I've only played like maybe Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Genesis,
Okay.
and then I played maybe Sonic and Tails. Wasn't there a Sonic and Tails game or something like
There
that?
was a Sonic and Tails, yes.
And then but the one Sonic game that have resonated with me since
Battle 2?
I was a kid, is on the Sega Dreamcast, Sonic Adventure, the first one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I really like that one too because the free roaming, it like has all like the different puzzles and stuff like that.
It made that was a game for me, like of just
Honestly,
running around.
this movie feels like Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
That is our Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. It really has those like really interesting, like we're going to basically just travel the world
Yeah.
for
Well, because now
in
because
search
like
of the Chaos Emeralds.
well,
which
that's the thing. They didn't do that a lot in the first one because he has those rings. He can.
he
go
has the
anywhere.
rings,
Yeah.
so he's just chucking them in these movies.
That's
like,
good.
I mean, okay, so he's not just chucking them, but I mean, like, he's using them for unemergency things, which is really interesting. So it starts out, and it's been almost a year because Robotnik says that he's been trapped for almost 267 days.
Yes. And last time we saw him, he was in like in that mushroom world.
He was in a mushroom world, yeah. So Robotnik specifically says, I've been stuck here for 267 days.
Yeah.
So it's been a little less than a year. While he's there, he is basically going crazy. Like Robotnik has been there for almost a year, and he's only had himself to kind of deal with things, and he's been trying to figure out how exactly to send a signal out. He eventually is able to send out a signal, and it's to Knuckles' people. They come cross, and it's more of like people who have taken Knuckles in. So it kind of, from what it sounds like there is a bigger bad that's out there.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, in the very first movie where you see Knuckles' people and they're
Yeah.
attacking the owl people.
Yeah.
Knuckles says that none of his people made it out of that. He said that they all died, which Sonic says all the owls died too. So unless they all killed each other in the fight, and then now it's Knuckles.
Civil war, basically.
Yeah, like a giant civil war. Unless Knuckles and Sonic are the last of those two sides, it's kind of weird. Like it's very interesting unless there was a third party that was involved. That's besides the point. Eventually, Knuckles comes through. He ends up finding out like, hey, where did you get that quill? Because he's looking for Sonic. Because he knows that Sonic is the key to finding the Master Emerald. That was like the big MacGuffin of this movie is the Master Emerald, which anybody who's played the Sonic games knows the Master Emerald is what happens when you get all of the Chaos Emeralds and you put them together and you get a Master Emerald. Sonic is very much just kind of living his life. He is trying to be a superhero. He's trying to be Batman and failing at it. He is utterly failing at it.
Not a dark hero, but
he's a blue justice. That's what he calls himself. And he is not doing a great job at it. He is essentially the worst superhero in the world. He's causing so much damage.
I've noticed that in the Sonic movies, they did those like a DC reference in the first one where he's reading Flash comic books.
Yes.
And now they're referencing Batman. What studio? Is it Paramount?
I don't know. Check.
Yeah. See,
I actually don't know what studio it is.
Like, what's the major studios? Hold on. But go on.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Paramount. Sorry. I took a drink and it had ice in it.
This is totally bad.
And it was so quiet. It was really quiet because I had ice in my mouth. Anyway, so after that, you can then see that that Sonic goes through everything else. And also, I should probably have said this. I'm going to spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah, he's going to spoil it. And I haven't seen the movie, but
I'm going to spoil this movie.
I don't care because like I'm still going to watch the movie.
Yeah. So the idea is that Robotnik leaves. Sonic is living his life. They very much have taken the human characters and put them to the side. They're in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
And like they keep checking in on Sonic, but very much this is a Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles and Dr. Robotnik story. Like they're in Hawaii.
It's Paramount Pictures. That's the studio.
Dude, that means it's coming out to Paramount Plus. That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to watch it.
So once it's out of theaters, it's gonna be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
I could honestly wait on that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
It was really good though. It honestly was really solid. So it was really great because Sonic when his two humans leave, he very much does the Ferris Bueller thing of like I'm just gonna do whatever I want in the house, and he utterly destroys the house. And it's so funny because Donut Lord finally calls him back, calls him to check in on him, and it's FaceTime, and Sonic. Like, cause I'm like, oh man, that house is destroyed. Like, it's wrecked. And then in a flash, like it's back to normal. And like, cause he cleans it. And then he like picks up the phone and he's like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, that's so funny because Sonic would just be able to just.
Yeah. He knows he can make a big old mess.
And he can clean it. And even
clean it in a flash.
Even Donut Lord even goes like, I know like anything you destroy, you probably could fix before I would even notice. And he goes, exactly. I mean, I didn't say that. And it's so interesting. That you have that because they have their own little side story, which honestly does not matter. Like honestly, because they're at the
Sonic and Donut Lord.
Donut Lord's story in Hawaii is not important. Yeah. Like he is.
Well, he's there for his sister-in-law's. Like
he's at the sister-in-law's wedding, which turns out to be the GDC. That government body that's the government body that's there. Apparently, after Robotnik, they formed it, and now. They're agents of it, so it's a giant sting operation. So it's like a giant. It's called Operation Catfish.
Wow, that's great though.
Because it's Tamora Morrison.
Yeah. Operation.
So, but going into the whole entire thing is really interesting because you have the idea of Sonic, and he doesn't have any friends. He has no one to really. Have these connections with, and even and they're even saying like, I really wish Sonic had friends. Sonic he ends up getting attacked by Knuckles, and Knuckles ends up just wrecking house with him. Like Sonic, the first fight with Knuckles they utterly destroy their house. Like the house is like completely and utterly destroyed. And you get introduced to Knuckle. You've been introduced, but you get introduced to Knuckles' power. The fact that he's super strong, he's super fast, and he can basically punch through anything.
Yeah.
Sonic is kind of going through it. That's when you meet Tails. So Tails ends up stealing a cop car, and they end up crashing it, which is hilarious. After all that's said and done, they end up finding out, hey, this is the Chaos Emerald is on Earth. Like the Master Emerald, it's on Earth. It's being hidden on Earth. We have to go find it before Knuckles does. It's a race against time. We have to find it before Knuckles does, which is very video game-esque.
Yeah.
That's very much a Sonic adventure of it's a race.
Yeah.
Like either they find it or we find it first.
Yeah. That's really cool. I like that. They kept with the spirit of the Sonic games in the movies.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way that like Adventure and also Adventure 2 where it was like we're both racing to either get the Chaos Emeralds or get like whatever reports in order to go to space, stuff like that. So you have all these like little aspects of it. I love the idea that they're adding that the spirit of the games while also adding game things. Like they have Robotnik in his classic little ball.
Oh,
he's in his classic little ball with Knuckles hanging off the side of it. What was it? They have like sound effects that you would get. It's really funny because like Sonic loses, and then you hear
the ding, like ding, like the coins.
Yeah, you hear the coins. They all fall, and then they all fall down.
Oh, that's so cool.
So like he gets punched, and then like all the coins fall out of his bag, and he's like, "Oh, my coins," and everything. It was really funny.
Really cool.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
And it made you really enjoy the movie because it really had that aspect of whoever made this movie loves this movie, like loves the IP.
See, and it's really interesting that out of all the video game movies, Sonic is the one right now that is far superior than any other video game movie that's come out so far.
My brother was, because I went to go see it with my brother and his boyfriend, and when we were watching it, my brother goes, "How is it that we can make 2 good Sonic movies?
Yes.
But we cannot make 1 good Resident Evil movie."
Right.
And it's a zombie movie. Like that's essentially what it is. It's just a zombie movie. And how is it that we can make 2 good Sonic movies where it like respects the source material? It has enough of the video games where you respect it, and it still can be fun. But when we go to like Resident Evil, they're just like, oh, well, it's a video game, so just like kind of put third stuff in.
And I think that's what it's really kind of like baffling, where you think that, because like if you really think about it, if we take out Sonic Adventures, those games, and just played Sonic, there's not really a main narrative in the original Sonic games. There's always just like, okay, you got to find the coins, and you got to go through the the stages, and you have your classic villain that's gonna stop you and stuff like that.
And you have your bosses.
That's
you
it.
have a boss.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the thing. There's no like an in-depth story, but yet we got this really good, like, that's the thing. It's funny how they made the story in the movies where obviously Sonic has to befriend a human, because it's going to take place in our world and stuff. And I loved how they wrote that in and stuff. And like you have,
it's a road trip.
It turned
into a road trip movie.
Yeah, and it was still really good. That's the thing.
The thing is that I feel like because they turned it into a road trip movie, but the problem is that when you have that connection with humans, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Sonic has been written in to communicate with humans on several occasions. Yes. In the video games, he does it inside the TV shows, like Sonic X, where he's like friends with a kid, which actually is really cool because in one of the first scenes when he's like when he's stopping the bank heist. The kid looks like the boy from Sonic X because he's wearing the same jacket. He has like the red hair. Okay. So it was a nice little like callback to Sonic X of like the kid that he's like always hanging out with.
Oh, that's cool.
So he doesn't like actually meet him, but like he's there and like because the car almost runs him over, but then Sonic goes super speed and he takes the entire like armored truck apart.
That's cool.
And that's kind of how that works. But you have these aspects to it, and it honestly has to go with having respect for the IP, because you have these little tiny, because all it takes is these little tiny touches, like the idea of how exactly do we put Sonic, because whenever Sonic gets hurt, Sonic loses his coins. Yeah. Okay, cool. How do we put that in? How about this? When Knuckles punches him, Knuckles punches the bag and it rips, and his coins fall out.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a solid explanation of how exactly it happens. Cool. Let's add that, and it's a nice little. And then we'll add the sound effects. Fans will love it, and fans love it. They ate it up because it was really, really cool. It was a cool effect. It was a cool sound effect. Everything else, even his like ball. I love when because he even
does he spin up? That's right.
Like, he winds up, and then you hear the bzzz, and then he shoots off. And it's so interesting to have that moment, and then Knuckles catch him. Like he catches him in his hands and everything else, and he just and just smashes him down. Such a cool scene. But he does that a lot, and going around all the stages, it really did feel like stages, because they went to Siberia, then from Siberia they go to Hawaii. What was it? Because it starts in Green Hills, then goes to Siberia, then Hawaii. So it's 3 stages of this little mission. And then when they're in Hawaii, they end up finding like a temple that was really there. Cool. And what was it? And the whole and the temple is holding the Chaos Emerald. So and then when they're inside the temple, there's a bunch of booby traps. And it's so funny because Robotnik basically figures out the game, where he goes, "Oh, I get it. Every 7 seconds there's a new booby trap." Which like that's kind of how the games worked.
That's how the game worked.
Yeah, that's how the game worked, where it was like, okay, every 7 seconds there was always like a new booby trap that would get set off. And it's so funny to kind of like have these like little tiny like aspects in it, where like Robotnik, he's gonna betray Knuckles. Like him and Knuckles are teaming up. Knuckles is trusting him because he believes he's an honorable man. But he's not. He's Robotnik. Robotnik is a crazy person at this point. He, and just having all these little tiny things. Their second battle where Sonic actually has to have this moment of like, hey, like I've been thrust into the hero aspect. I need to become that hero. And because before he's just kind of like, I'm a hero and I don't really care.
So to move forward, because we're not running out of time just yet, but we are touching there.
Right.
So the one selling point obviously in this movie was Tails. So how was Tails as well in this film? Or
Tails?
How did they was the introduction to Tails feel forced, or was it very kind of natural?
So the way that they explain Tails is that Tails is from a different universe from Sonic.
Oh, so completely different.
So from a completely different thing, and Sonic is his hero.
Yes.
So Tails is Sonic's hero because when Sonic does the giant electricity thing, it put a signal out to Tails, and Tails figured it out.
Oh, that's right. And Tails is always the techie.
And Tails has always been the techie person. So Tails actually watched the events of 1.
Oh, that's really cool.
And Sonic became his new hero from the events of 1 because he was able to save his town. So then Tails finds out that Knuckles figures out where Sonic is. So Tails goes to warn him and say, hey, you have this guy coming after you. And it's very much, when he shows up, he actually runs Knuckles over with a police car. And he hits him into a tree or into a fence, and then he goes like, get in, very Terminator-esque.
I was going to say,
you got to get in the car.
Yeah, come with me.
Yeah, and I love the idea because I saw him driving, and I was like, how the heck is Tails driving this car? And I love the idea that Tails just has gadgets up the yin-yang. Like, he has like little gadgets that he puts on the pedals
that do it for him.
Do it for him. So all he's doing is this.
Just the steering,
And he's in the little, like, as he needs to speed up, like it's doing it and everything. It's awesome. It's such a cool aspect to it. Not only that, but also Tails just has a buttload of gadgets. After Siberia, Tails gets injured because Sonic is like, hey, let's do this. They have a great dance number.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah, really cool. Sonic and Tails get stuck in Siberia, and because it's a classic line, it's a classic thing inside the show and also in the video games of Tails' gadgets not working right. Like, he has a gadget for it, but it doesn't exactly work the way it was supposed to. And so he has a translator, but it keeps translating the opposite of what he's saying.
That's awesome. I like that.
Or it's mistranslating stuff, so it's just saying random lines.
Stuff,
yeah, it's like saying random lines like, "Oh, you smell like dirt," or something like that. And they're getting this like village in Siberia, this bar in Siberia is getting offended, and then he's like, "Tails, figure out a custom." figure out some kind of a custom, and he's able to figure out this custom where like he reads a word and he reads it, and it's like it's a challenge. Like if we win, we live. If we lose, we get thrown in the fire. And they're like, well, what's the custom? Like, what is this? And then it's a dance battle.
That's really cool.
And it's Sonic and Tails becoming friends of like they're forced to become like to dance battle because Tails doesn't really believe in himself. Sonic is finally having that like older brother to younger brother kind of like sibling relationship, which is really cool.
Okay.
And you can kind of feel their friendship growing. You understand why Sonic would want to do things for Tails. Sonic and Tails eventually, when they're in Siberia, they end up finding the temple that take the little like compass, because in a Sonic game it's never one temple that took you one place. It was always a temple that got you an item that took you to a place that then took you to the other place, then took you to the temple. Yeah. So once you get to all of that, Tails gets injured and Sonic blames himself. Okay. And it's funny because inside of Donut Lord and them's like storyline, the first thing she tells him is like, hey, I want to bury the hatchet. Like, I know that I know that a lot of stuff happened, but I want to bury the hatchet. And then she hugs him, and then she goes, if you ruin my wedding, I will kill you. And it's so funny because only he can hear it, and to everybody else, like, she's trying to bury the hatchet, she's trying to be nice. Oh, okay. And it's so funny because the niece walks up and she has the rings. Well, Sonic gave him one of the rings so that way he can get home. So what happens is that he swaps out the rings and he's messing with his niece, and then he puts it in his pocket, and then the niece is like, oh no, where's the other ring? And then he pulls it out, and it's the gold ring. It's the gold rings, yeah. And he puts it on the pillow so that way he can give, and it's the wedding rings. Sonic calls him and goes, hey, I need you to like think about where I'm going because there's an avalanche behind me. And also Sonic surfs. He snowboards. He snowboards in this one. He snowboards in this one, and he's like destroying rockets. It's amazing. It's so awesome. Like as soon as he started snowboarding, I was like, yes. Yeah, I know. Snowboard.
I remember that in the Sonic Adventure. That was really.
I'm really hoping that in the next movie, Tails gears up his shoes so that he can grind and stuff like that. Because now that he has Tails, because that's always like a Tails thing of like
he always upgrades.
He always upgrades his shoes so that we can run faster.
So we gotta wrap this up soon. So let's just talk about. I don't want to talk about the ending because I actually want to save that for the first viewing of how this movie ends. But I did watch online. Someone posted the after credits scene.
Can I tell you one thing
about the ending? Or
go ahead. It's basically a giant mech fight with Robotnik and the others.
I saw a clip of Robotnik's like big old giant robot, and I was like, that's freaking cool.
It was really awesome of Robotnik and them of Knuckles, because it's the three of them having to fight Robotnik.
Yeah, that's awesome.
As a giant mech, and they're trying to figure it out, which then leads to Sonic plus Chaos Emeralds. You can only imagine what happens. Yeah, that's awesome. That was awesome. Also, he looked amazing gold. He looks amazing gold. Yeah, he looks like the minute that you have Sonic with the Chaos Emeralds and you go like, oh, all 7 Chaos Emeralds are there, you're gonna get Supersonic. Yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah, like as soon as that happened, I think I told you I was like, we're gonna get Supersonic. Yeah. Like that's just gonna happen. You said that, yeah. And what was it? And that was really cool. The only thing I was a little disappointed is that we didn't get. I wanted more of the soundtrack from like Adventures 1 and 2 because those soundtracks just slap.
They're super good.
They're really, really good. I get it though because they do have some 90s like hits, like rock hits, because that's kind of like a Sonic music. It was like it's like a lot more rock and roll. Yeah. But yeah, it was that, and also I kind of wanted Robo Sonic. Yeah.
We talked about earlier how you wanted that to be a reveal or a final boss at the end of this movie.
I really wanted a Robo Sonic, but also I get it because then you wouldn't have as much Eggman.
That's true, and that this being Jim Carrey announcing that this is his final film,
I wouldn't be surprised if. Because he disappears at the end of this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if if you can say he went to he had an extra ring and he went to a different world.
That could be, yeah. I think that's why they're they're leaving it the way that it is,
Yes.
in case, and which takes setting up a new villain.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because there are other villains inside of the Sonic world.
Yeah, not just Eggman. Yeah.
That besides Eggman.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the games, it's always been like Eggman, and then not until like the adventure games or until Heroes and all those that they start introducing more villains. But yeah, I'm really excited because they do introduce basically the premise of Adventure 2, where there's an Operation Shadow, and Shadow looks amazing.
Yeah, I saw the
Like-
clip. It was actually, he looked really cool.
Shadow looks awesome. We were talking about it earlier of like who exactly we would want to
Voice it.
voice him, and I think there's a lot of different like because Shadow kind of needs that like that gruff. You know what? Now that I think about it,
Because that's the thing is that you have
Dean.
Ben Schwartz. Who?
Dean.
Oh, Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles.
You know what? I would
Jensen
love that.
I
Yes.
just thought about it right
Make
now,
a
and I was
petition
like,
right now.
dude,
Like,
Jensen
Ackles
Ackles
needs to do Shadow.
Dude, him as Shadow would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yes.
Like, especially if he does that like that Red Hood voice.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Sonic
that
the
would-
Hedgehog. He's all like
Sonic the Hedgehog. Like that would be awesome.
Sonic. Yeah. Oh, just now. Yeah. That would be really.
Yeah,
cool.
Jensen Ackles is Sonic. I'm calling it now.
Yes.
I'm calling it now. I want that. I
yeah.
know it's not going to happen because he's not a big enough name. But that's the sad part.
That's what's. I mean, that's why. That's why
Jensen Ackles is a great actor.
I mean, that's why they got Idris Elba to do Knuckles, because he has a a following and he's a big enough name.
like that. He'll put butts in seats.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have Jensen Ackles, that's a whole nother group base.
It's a whole other fan base that you'll get. I'm hoping that maybe after his run in The Boys, I'm really hoping Jensen Ackles breaks out a little bit more than he already is. Because Jensen Ackles is famous. He's a big name.
Yeah, people,
He's a
and
big
that's the
name.
thing is that even if you don't know who he is, when you see him, you're like, that's a guy. Yeah,
That's
that
Dean.
or no, it's just like just his face in general. It's just like that guy's an actor, but like it's like he seems like he's a strong actor.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. But so wrapping it up right now, overall,
I loved it.
you loved it.
I loved it.
You gave
Honestly,
it
I
zero, like 1 out of 5. What would you give it?
dude, I would give it like a 4.5.
Give it a 4.5. Obviously superior than the first one.
It was better than the first one. I feel like it was more fun. It was just it was a nonstop. I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
I'm really having fun. If you're a Sonic fan, you're gonna love this movie.
Yeah, this is the pre-Sonic. This is a Sonic movie now.
This is a Sonic movie because very much at the end of it, you're moving away from Sonic needing help and more into because Sonic is very much a child inside of this one. This one he's a teenager he's more of a teenager going into adulthood.
Yes.
Finding his way in the world, and then now he is Sonic, like in the third one. So he will be Sonic the Hedgehog.
Cool.
In this last one, and now he actually has a crew, which also it was so cool seeing him, Knuckles, and Tails
just coming together.
because now they're a family. Now they all live in that house
That's cool.
as like a family.
Yeah.
And like they're all kind of like now that family is like welcomed in Knuckles and Tails, and like now they're all boys and everything, which is so great. It's so
Yeah.
hilarious.
All right.
Yeah. I love it so much, and now they're the protectors of the
Earth.
Master Emerald.
That's right. Okay.
They're the protectors of the Master Emerald, and if you have Master Emerald, you're gonna have Shadow. Because
Yeah.
they just go together. Like that's where
Yeah.
that story goes. I'm really interested to see where Shadow leads in the next movie, because you have like Maria. You also have like a giant.
Yeah, that opens so many more characters now. That's the thing.
Because I feel like if you have Shadow, you have to take Sonic to space.
I feel like
that's
so. And
like
I
Sonic
wonder,
has to go to space.
I wonder if they'll introduce also like maybe Amy and then Big Cat as well too.
You know what? Biggs is an interesting character
Yeah.
because Biggs is he is not the best character.
No. But that's the thing is that if you have Amy, you have to have him.
Well,
as well.
Amy and Biggs are a
Yeah,
package deal.
yeah,
That's the thing. But the thing is, because I wouldn't mind Sonic finally having a love interest.
Yeah, I feel like in the third one they might just do that.
I think that would be interesting. I'm just kind of curious on how exactly they would do that because in Battle 2, Amy was already established because they all came from his homeworld. So I'm actually wondering if whether or not it's going to refer back to his homeworld, because this one was referring a lot back to his homeworld. I'm wondering if they're going to move towards there and start kind of getting there.
Yeah.
And everything else.
So we'll wrap it up right here. Obviously, Nick loved the movie. If you guys
Yes.
want to see, you might have to tune in next issue for either Brian's review or my review of it next week, because we haven't had time to see it yet. So on that note, we're going to cut it right here soon so Brian can come back. And we're cutting now.
And now, our feature presentation.
And we're back.
Who's this guy?
What do you mean?
Whoa!
Get out of here. We're having a good conversation.
You
know?
come in and spoil the entire Sonic conversation. No. Okay, did you guys mention that the end credit scene got spoiled for me? Before?
No.
We
mention
didn't.
that.
No. Just before we exit out of Sonic Talk, one of the listeners was passing by right before we started recording.
One of our
We were
listeners.
watching Initial D because Brian is starting to get into anime. 'Cause he's
No,
becoming a
I'm
weeb.
not starting. I've never been in an anime.
I've let him
I don't
use
watch
my
anime.
Funimation account
To not
so
watch
he can
anime.
watch anime on
To
his
not
phone.
watch anime.
To watch Funimation content
Yes, there you go.
on his phone
So-
when Andy's asleep, so that way he doesn't get caught and be called a weeb.
That way I don't get judged.
Dude, this is the worst. I feel like you're watching, like, is this your porn?
No.
Like, you're watching it like you're
Dude,
watching
okay,
dirty
so,
porn.
So that's another side story.
Like,
so I'll tell you guys
what
that
do you mean-
after.
Wait, hold on.
So Andy's already said that she wants to come on the show to defend herself off this case, but I'm just like, there's no case to defend.
There's no case to
You
defend.
already
She
make
doesn't
fun of
like
me
anime.
watching My Hero Academia. I don't need you making fun of me. She was making fun of me watching Initial D too. She's like, oh my god, why is it so like weird and epic? And I'm like, because it is. Okay, just let me live my life.
That's how. No, honestly, that's because I was talking about it with Nick while you were watching Initial D. Like, honestly, it's funny when people point out that, like, whenever anime characters are just kind of like doing something, either in the middle of a fight or driving or doing like an action sequence in a way, it's slow. It goes into a motion where they're like either moving really fast, but it's going so slow, and they're doing an inner monologue.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like we don't mind it.
No, we think it's normal.
It's normal.
Bro,
Anyway.
that's like majority of haiku.
Oh yeah,
it's
about to go like this.
it's like 80% of haiku.
I need to hit it at a certain angle. That way I can get it get the point.
Or,
I mean,
or
that's
you just have
Initial D
him
right there.
Dude, you just have him going higher, higher.
We'll get into anime talk when we talk about Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
long
yeah,
story
yeah.
short, one of our listeners came in and was talking to us about how he just watched Sonic
With
and
his
his kid
son.
was in.
With his
son
son.
Yeah,
was
and
there.
he was trying really hard.
Yeah,
He was
because I was like,
trying
oh, I'm gonna go see it Sunday.
so hard because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna spoil it for Brian, and Brian then walked out. So Brian was like, okay, and
Keep it under 30 seconds.
And he's trying to like really like pick his words, and his son immediately goes, yeah, the shadow. And you just see
'Cause there
Brian,
was
no.
So I was trying. Look,
and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He's covering his son's mouth and
Yeah, 'cause
everything.
his son wanted to continue explaining what happened in the movie, and Brian's like, "Why?"
But I will
Good
say,
kid, good
but
kid.
I mean, really quick, just like another minute. Was that really a spoiler?
I don't think
You
it
had-
was.
you had the Chaos Emeralds,
So
and
hang on.
you
Let me
needed a
let
new
me
villain
let
for
me
the third
put in some words, please, Nick. Okay, thank you, Jesus. You already had it.
Yes.
So,
No.
So for me, I kind of already like it's not a big spoiler to know who the big character is because I think the next question that was asked was like, oh well, I mean, who else would you have thought of to be the next villain?
That's
And
true.
I'm like, okay, you have Metal Sonic, you have Rouge, you have you could have also have teased Amy or Cream, maybe the
is more,
Chows,
yeah, but Rouge is more of like a
the rival
Catwoman,
to Knuckles.
and she's more of like the Catwoman to Knuckles' as Batman.
Yeah, so I'll give my full thoughts on it next week when I go watch it with Andy on Sunday.
Yes.
So that'll be it. But moving on to more topics because
You're
we
going
are
to
going to be
cry.
running. Huh?
You're gonna cry.
That's fine. I'll cry. I don't care. I'm an emotional person. I can admit that.
Speaking of
just-
crying, actually, have you watched that new movie with Ryan Reynolds called The Atom Project?
I'm gonna
Dude, it's
watch.
really
it.
good.
You're
Yeah.
gonna bawl.
Oh my god!
Just knowing Brian.
Is it a father-son story?
yes,
It's a father.
Then I
son.
can't watch it.
No, dude.
We're going to Brian's house. I want to watch it with him. So
I do
can-
want to watch Atom Project
really
with you,
wanna
Matt,
watch
and
it
I
with
can just
you.
hold you.
Yeah. And just be like, it's okay, Brian.
It's one of the reasons I can't watch Onward because Andy watched it and she's like, no,
Dude,
you'll
you
get
have to watch
destroyed.
Onward though. That's such a
No,
good movie.
because she said that it's too closely related to what I went through, and she's like, you'll like die, and I'm like, yeah,
that's
probably.
what base.
Yeah, but in order to get past that, you have to, expose yourself to
Or
it.
how about I don't get past it and I just repress it inside my memories?
That's
for the rest
not
of my life?
healthy.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
That's
So
what
moving on to
That's what the suicide note will read.
moving on to our next topics. So Nick has dropped out of Halo. He is not watching it currently.
Okay, in all fairness.
Not in all fairness,
No,
you
in
dropped
all-
out.
No.
You had a
hold
choice.
on.
You could have
Hold
watched
on.
it today.
Hold on. So, I had an option last night. Either watch Sonic or watch Halo. And I felt like my time was better spent with Sonic.
Or you could have
See-
watched it this morning.
See, the thing is that
I had work.
I see what you mean. The first 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of watching Halo, I had to watch it after I had get off of work, and I'm
Right.
already tired, and I'm already kind of like, ugh. So I'm forcing myself to watch it. So this week, I decided, okay, I don't have to go to work till around 11. I'm up at 7 o'clock already, and I'm like, let me just get this over with.
So look, the
That's-
only
that is
reason,
legitimately where I'm at.
The
Yeah.
only reason, because I'm on that boat as well, where I'm like, it's a struggle to have to watch it because it's complete. Okay, long story short, Halo Episode 3,
It's not
good.
any better.
It gets worse, and I feel like Master
It also
Chief,
just pissed me off.
you didn't watch it, so you can't.
No,
know.
I-
you,
my-
you don't.
no,
you
my-
don't get an
Hold on,
opinion.
hold on.
This is not about you. You had your 20 minutes of Sonic.
Here's the only thing I didn't like about it is the fact that they got the same voice actor for Cortana, because I know Cortana,
Voice actress for
or
Cortana.
voice
Cortana.
actress for Cortana, and I feel like that pissed me off more. Because my brother had
This
told me
episode
about
would
it.
have made you more pissed
No,
off.
because Cortana was actually cute. I felt like
Yes.
she was very adorable, and she kind of fit her character very well from the games.
But then why, if you're gonna go, oh yeah, we need to get the voice actress right for Cortana, why can't we do the same thing for Chief?
So that's why I said in the message that, this episode, the introduction of Cortana, spoiler alert, Cortana gets introduced in this one. The introduction of Cortana somehow
use it as,
made
like,
Master
trailers?
Chief worse.
yes,
And it made Cortana more enjoyable. So
it's like the Cortana show.
yeah, it's the show. Episode 3. Here's our 30-second review of it. Right, it sucked. Master Chief is not in armor until the last 10 seconds
And
of
he
the
doesn't
episode.
even have his helmet on.
Nothing. It is just him. All it is basically the introduction of Cortana. And I will say this: that this show, if it went away from Master Chief and it was just based off the UNSC, much better show.
See,
but you
so-
can't do that.
So my way of not fixing it, but I feel like in this whole way of their presenting the episodes and stuff like that, I would have felt more better if he took off the armor and helmet in this episode. If he was wearing the armor and the studio was like, okay, at some point we have to have him take off the armor. I would have felt better if it was in episode 3, because in this one he takes off he gets out the
pellet, the emotional repressant pellet or whatever.
And
yeah.
so that way you can have that actor come out of the armor and then actually have him struggling and showing him oh, he's having emotion for the first time.
Yes, and
I swear to God, if Master Chief starts giggling, I'm gonna smack someone.
No, so watch the episode so you'll know. You have another week to catch up. Okay, then don't. This is you dropped. That's it. You quit.
I didn't
you
jump.
Quitter.
I'm gonna
you
watch it.
Quitter.
I
All
don't
right.
want to watch it. I'm going to watch it for next week, so that way I'll be up to date. But
Okay,
it's-
if he drops it a second time, then you're out.
Yeah, you're out.
Okay,
You're
we
stri-
get
you got
a
strike
free
one.
pass. Yeah, we get a free pass.
because I was busy this
because
week.
honestly, the show is terrible.
I was listen.
People
I was,
love it.
I had
People love
I
it.
don't know how.
I don't either.
Anyway, I was beating Elden Ring this week, so I was like, I had better things to
Excuse
do.
after
You
excuse.
were beating your Elden Ring? What?
I was becoming the Elden Lord.
So
Frenzied fire.
So I want to say this again. Like I said, if this show was revolving around the UNSC, then it would be a much better show.
Yes.
My problem is this: that Master Chief, because John and I are only watching. Like I said, okay, that was the point I was trying to get across. Sorry, I'm going to backtrack for a second. The only reason I'm continuously watching this isn't just for the content. It's the only time I really get to talk to John one-on-one and be on Discord with him because we're so busy.
And that's what's hard about me and Nick watching this is because we don't have a Halo buddy to watch. That's the thing. We don't have anyone to bounce off of and be like, yeah, that was freaking terrible, man. What the
I just have there, and I'm sitting there with that spoon, and I'm just kind of like
why?
I could gouge
Just
my
watching
eyes
it.
out right
Yeah,
now,
just
and that'd
watching
probably be a
pantsless
better
and
use
stuff.
of my time.
So that's it's me, John, and Sarah's time to kind of all be together and enjoy each other company while watching a really bad show.
Yes.
But John said it best that this
Are
show
you
is
going over his house, or are you just chilling on Discord?
on Discord. We just time sync.
You you could invite us. That way we could all join our time.
But it's our time because I see you guys. like twice a week.
So
I don't
basically,
see
he
it.
doesn't want to
He
see
doesn't
us
wanna
more
see
than
it
that.
with
I love you guys, but this is the thing. Oh my God, you guys put me in such a bad place because John did the same thing. He's like, he mentioned you guys. He's just like, you guys don't invite me to go anywhere. I'm like, dude, you live like an hour away. I'm like, totally, if gas prices were like $6
There
a
needs to
gallon,
be 2 Bryans in this world so we can all share it.
split me in half, you know? But no.
Nick's face.
If you
So
loved,
I'm gonna get
if you loved us, you would invite us.
totally
Oh my
crapped
God.
on. I
No, it's
swear
fine.
I
Go
can't do
ahead.
anything because I'm gonna get crapped on because somehow this is gonna come back. Why I always like
It always does.
As long
Oh
as-
my God, I'm turning red. I can feel my forehead turning red.
You're
Hot, dang.
You are turning red.
So-
You are embarrassed.
I am embarrassed because I want to spend all my time with all my friends. I love all you guys, but it's just
Fine,
difficult.
just put us in
So
a giant group chat and just have us fight it out.
Battle Royale.
Whoever lives is my friend.
oh my God. Anyway, so John said it best when he said that this series was really well casted. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you know what? Look, there's only one point that came out of this episode before we move on to Moon Knight
Yeah.
and actually talk about something good.
Yes.
They were cowards because we didn't see Master Chief's penis.
Ah.
That's what I wanted to see.
They
You know
revealed
what?
everything.
They revealed the ass. They revealed, him butt ass
Yeah.
naked, but no penis.
We didn't get
You
to
know-
see the master dick.
No.
No, that's the Master Chief.
I just wanted to know, are we gonna have 2 characters without helmets or?
There you go.
Listen, he never leaves home without his Magnum.
Yes.
So our review for
just-
episode 3, not
have-
good. It still got bad.
I love the idea that on the first episode you were really trying to defend this show.
I was, and then I'm just like,
got
holy
into it.
crap!
really,
no,
you were
I can't.
really trying to go
People
this
like
show
it.
is great.
People like it. Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
weird.
And you know what? I'm just gonna say it will be a saving grace if they throw away Master Chief and just focus on the UNSC. I could see that maybe,
you know what
but
the
otherwise
funny
no.
thing is
though?
I can't the funny thing is that people liked Gotham too. And it's not great.
Can we talk about a show that's actually good?
Well,
Moon Knight?
one little thing.
What?
The one thing that I'm like, you know what? Just drop this subplot is the girl from the first episode.
I don't know why she's still
No
a
one
thing.
cares about. I'm sorry.
I don't
not
get-
to be mean
yeah.
to that actress. I get you.
The
I get
writing,
you,
no,
yes.
it's just the writing. That subplot is really, I do not care about that. It's
okay, my-
unimportant.
And-
Do you agree with me on this? That there is no reason to feel sympathy for her.
yeah.
100%, right?
Yes, there's no.
All right.
Yeah.
What about okay. What about if instead of it being called the Halo, if it was just called ODST?
I would have
That's
preferred
fine.
that.
And then what you have is then Spartans hunting them to kill her.
Yes, that's fine.
I
Yeah,
think
you-
that would be a better story.
could have
because-
been.
yeah.
Yeah, you could have been ODST, a Halo story.
Something. Just
Yeah.
or don't even call it a Halo story. Just
No, but they have to call it Halo for the rights.
yeah, sure.
You have to call
You
it
have to-
Halo for the rights.
You have to throw Halo in there. So
That's what I'm saying. You literally called ODST. You have a drop shop trooper that went there, was there with the elite and everything like that. He helped clear them out. After that, he found the girl and then he brought her back, felt for her, and then now Chief and the other Spartans are hunting them down. I think that's a better story
yeah.
than Chief touching a thing and then now he feels.
we still don't know
But
anything.
the thing is, though, is
don't
that
get it.
this series or this season, it feels like, obviously Master Chief has already been established and stuff like that, and I get that that's happened in the game as well too. But it just feels like we're behind. Like watching this now, it feels like we missed like a season of something.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's what I said on the first episode where I
Yeah.
was like, it feels like I'm midway through the game, and then I started watching the cutscenes.
Yeah.
That's just the way it feels. But I would have loved this show if the hero that we have always rooted for, Master Chief, is actually the villain. Where he's now hunting them down because
would've
he's
been cool.
just listening to orders.
So we'll see if Nick jumps back on board and actually watches.
give him one
the
more
last
week.
two. He's got to
I
endure
will-
2 hours of this.
That's the
But
thing.
you
It's
know
2
what?
hours?
No.
because you got to watch last week's episode and then the
this
new
week's.
one.
I'll watch it probably Sunday.
There you go. Okay.
Well, I'll be watching Sonic. We should invite John to a mini cast when the Halo series ends.
I'm
and
down.
We can do that.
So
Yeah.
that way we
down.
can all just poop on it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
'cause
John
that's-
would be great to talk to you about Halo.
Yeah, he it's interesting because he's a very calm voice and will tell you things that he doesn't like, but it'll make it seem like he kind of does like it. It's interesting. I feel like he'd
No,
be a
I've
good
talked
voice.
to John. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that's how he is.
So-
And then like when he gets really into something, he gets more energetic.
Yeah.
So, it's great.
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Quick little synopsis of it. Now we actually get to see Mr. Knight.
Yes.
We get the actual, we get the other version of Moon Knight in this episode. And I will say, this is the second episode, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go back
Episode
on this, and I stand by this point. This show needed to have a 2-episode release, not a 1. Because after the end of this episode, a lot of things came together and were explained a lot better.
I feel like I honestly don't agree with that. I like the pacing that it's
Really?
being released.
Yeah, so am I.
I like it because, you know, I'm kind of tired of getting the first 2 episodes, the first 3 episodes, because it feels like the run of the series is short at that moment. They did that for Book of Boba Fett, and we only had, like 4 weeks of
I think it's
that?
like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, and the thing is that I love that because it's, you know, it's Moon Knight. It's six episodes. It's a 6 episode. It's not even a season. It's a 6 episode main event.
Yeah,
Marvel's.
it's a Marvel
Has-
event at this point.
Has Mandy been watching it or no?
Yes, so she does watch it. She doesn't know anything about Moon Knight, and I told her basically what people try to say about Moon Knight when they're really wrong. When they say like, "Oh yeah, it's like Marvel's Batman," and I'm just like, "That's
definitely not this one.
No,
So
not this one."
Let me ask you this, because the reason I say that this needed to have a release of the first 2 episodes is because I'm basing it off of how Andy reacted to
Yes.
it. And her reaction was she enjoys it. She enjoys it, but she was very confused after the first episode. And she usually can go through a series without asking a lot of questions. I'm trying my hardest to stay quiet through every episode to just give it the chance to explain itself.
Yeah.
She has so many questions.
I feel like
and
that's
it's-
also just Andy's personality.
No, she doesn't ask. Like legitimately,
So-
she'll like be quiet. She stays quiet on like a lot of those like series because she lets the story kind of evolve and explain to certain things. But the problem that I see with Moon Knight is that it wants to tell a story and it's doing it in its own pace, but it's forgetting that it's a very, very new character with not a lot of backstory in the comic books or in the MCU.
Yeah, so if you really think about it, the show compared to how the comics present it, they changed up a lot of things.
Yes.
And they trimmed a lot of things as well too.
Well, they trimmed a lot of fat.
Yeah. They kind of just went straight to the point, and like essentially he's supposed to be a New York City official, he's a New York City superhero, but they changed it to London because everything's always in New York City, so they wanted to change up the vibe and stuff like that.
Steven is a different character.
Yeah, he's
not-
actually Steven's actually a millionaire.
I actually thought it was interesting because I thought, oh yeah, the Eternals takes place also in London.
Yes.
So if I wanted them to interact with the Eternals or Black Knight or Blade, this is an easy way of doing
You
it. by
have
making
that
it-
world
Yeah,
right
you can
there.
start doing your.
He's now already in that world, and we can easily just go Marvel Knights.
Yeah.
And this is the world that they're in, and we have Blade, we have the Black Knight, and we also have Moon Knight. And
just-
we go, it's Marvel Knights.
It just also makes it harder if you do it in New York City again because you already have Spider-Man, you have Daredevil that they're.
How do
now
they not
putting
run into
in.
each other?
Yeah, how do you not? Because New York City's it's a big city, but how does one not like?
It's a really big small city.
yes.
Like it's a tall city,
Yeah.
but also it's very easy to run into people.
Yeah.
Like,
You can't have the Daredevil series without mentioning
Luke Cage
Hell's
or-
Kitchen without
Yeah.
mentioning the incident in Avengers.
Yeah,
That
or
Exactly.
even
really
talking
happened.
about Spider-Man as well too. That's why it was really cool to see
or like
Matt
having.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna say that's why it was really cool to see Matt Murdock in No Way Home
'Cause he's in
they
Queens.
finally because it's like okay Peter is not well endowed in financially, so it makes sense that he would get Matt Murdock
Well,
as
yeah.
a lawyer.
And because in Luke Cage they also mentioned the Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Because they mentioned the destruction of Harlem. So I mean, you have a lot of like these things where we have to mention it, and I just think that just putting it other places. Because if I was honestly, if I lived in New York, I wouldn't live in New York.
It's just
Like, dude, I wouldn't- no,
insurance rates
bro,
are off the roof. man.
Honestly,
They're just-
dude,
Yeah.
if I lived in New York, if
In Marvel Universe, yeah.
if I was in the Marvel Universe and somebody was like, "Bro, if you want to go to New York," I'd be like, "I'd rather go to Gotham." Like,
That's like
I would much rather be
like-
mugged
Yeah.
than to have my car destroyed and have to buy a new one every other week.
dude, like,
can you imagine just like in
I'd rather go to
like
Gotham,
living in
dude.
Gotham and it's just like you're about to get a cup of water and just hear the news Joker has poisoned the water with his Joker gas and it's just like,
Honey, get the water.
okay, I'm gonna open this window. The news goes off. Scarecrow has released his fear toxin.
But could you imagine living in New York?
The world's ending. The world's ending.
Yeah, an alien invasion has hit New York City.
Honey, grab the kids again. We're going back to the bunker.
Yeah,
I lost one.
That's fine.
yeah,
That's why we had. That's why we had 12. Like,
yeah.
I mean, people get blimped all the time.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like people get blimped. There's alien invasions.
So
Damn, the world's gone through way too much in the span of, like,
someone pointed
in the
out,
DC universe in 15 years,
Yeah.
like it's bad. It's real bad.
So someone pointed out in in Moon Knight that when you look
Are you talking about the QR codes?
no, not the, well, that too, but when you look at, I guess, Mark Spector's passport, apparently they show like your date of birth and when you got blipped, and apparently he didn't get blipped. It was like
Yeah, it was.
he was
it
alive. Yeah, he
it's
was alive.
also Oscar Isaac's actual birthday.
That's
that's
really
pretty
cool.
It's
cool.
actually Oscar Isaac's birthday.
But yeah, I think it's getting better.
Obviously, so this episode obviously showed, okay, like this is what we all need to know about the Moon Knight and the god, and then it's like, okay, well, this is what we need to do moving forward. We need to go to Egypt.
Not
That's
only
it.
that, but also I feel
The
like
pacing was better.
the
Yes.
pacing was really good. But also I feel like this allowed Steven the ability to then have his own resolve
Yeah.
of saying, "I'm going to say no to you," because I can kind of see him just giving up and going, "No, I'm going to go." Like I get what you're trying to do, but I like the idea of them trying to explain it. And even though he's kind of like the dumber one of Mark and Khonshu,
Yeah.
even he kind of understood what he was saying, and he was like, "That's wrong." Like, wait a minute, if you were to judge a child
Yeah.
based off of things that they may do, that's justice?
So
like,
I-
that doesn't make any sense.
I love that because one of the things that Andy asked, which was really interesting because I really love this little twist that they did, they were explaining Anut's existence as a good thing. And so as, Ethan Hawke's character, I forget his name, is talking to Steven, saying like, no, he's a good god because he's going to bring peace to the world and
Right.
make judgment before the actual crimes
he's
happen.
He's precog.
Exactly. Andy turns to me and she says, so how is this a bad thing? And I'm just like, just wait. Because even I was a little bit confused. I'm like, this kind of sounds like a good idea. And he was explaining it. So that just goes to show the way that Ethan Hawke is acting for this character.
It's solid.
It's selling.
Yeah.
It's
Selling
selling
it.
hard because it's like, wait, how's this a bad thing? And that's when things started to turn south, that you got the explanation when they were asking about, well, are you going to judge a baby or a kid for crimes that they've never committed before?
And that's
Or
what.
not only
yeah.
that, not only never committed, may never commit because it's a different. It all depends on their choices in life.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really cool or really interesting. Where his mindset, where you have Moon Knight's mindset is that, well, we need to punish people of crimes that they have done.
exactly.
Yes, and
While
that
Ethan Hawke's character is like, well, I can do something better. I can judge them before they even do it.
yeah, and because Khonshu even says, he goes, "There's nobody that I've killed that didn't deserve it. Like they all committed horrible and heinous crimes."
Yeah.
It's going into I wouldn't say, I don't like using the term darker side of the MCU, but it is, and I like the pacing at which they're doing. So it's not like full blast. You're gonna get Daredevil into this kind of like range. It's more along the lines of like, we're getting into much deeper topics that are a little more adult based that maybe the younger kids are not gonna get. The judgment of crimes and executing people, and it's getting a lot serious, and I'm liking that direction, and they're spoon feeding it to us at a good rate.
Well, I think because of that, that's the reason why they had that rating approval when you signed in when Moon Knight dropped. Because when Moon Knight dropped, it said, "Do you approve for mature content?"
Oh, is it? So it's under that category.
It's TV-14.
Oh, okay.
It's not TVMA.
It's not TVMA, but it did. But when you clicked
yeah.
into Disney Plus, it specifically said, "Do you allow?"
yeah, because it's not
content?
TV PG-13.
Because
No, it's TVM 14 for TV because it's not 13.
What
like
was
movies.
the ratings on the before for like Loki and WandaVision?
I
Was
think
those
it-
were
they were-
TV-13.
those were TV-13. Okay.
Those were
Yeah.
those were not mature. Those weren't super mature.
Okay.
Well,
That's
because
pretty
remember
cool.
they're like existential and like
Yeah.
multiverse, and not really like even if when we kill people,
They weren't
don't
really that
die.
violent.
They weren't
either.
dying.
Yeah, they weren't really dying.
Well, that's
because they
true
were coming
because
back.
yeah, that's the thing when you like was it on Loki when they used the wands and they like
They were
disintegrated people?
They weren't really disintegrating them.
Yeah.
They were sending them to
a different
dimension
plane, yeah.
or a different plane. So they weren't really killing them. Whereas in Moon Knight, he's just bludgeoning people. He's killing them with a moon.
Are we excited for the episode 3?
I am.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because it's like I said, the pacing's getting better. We haven't seen what they're gonna what they're gonna do just yet, but we know that we need to get here, and so this is what we need to do.
I'm also really interested to allow Mark at the wheel.
Yes,
finally.
I'm really wanting to see what Mark's going now that we're following Mark.
Yes, that's the thing, and Mark's like the main character we follow in the comic books.
Yes.
While sometimes there will be story arcs that had to deal with Steven and stuff like that.
I'm interested to see Mark's storyline because there is you would think that Mark doesn't have that big of a weight on his shoulders, but it kind of does, and it was all explained in the last like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Because he was basically saying like, when you are in the subconscious part where Steven's located at right now, it gets harder and you just feel like you're stuck in a void, right? So now he has to deal with the fact that not only is he going to have to do the biddings of the god, right, of what he's supposed to be doing, but he has to continuously do it at his own expense. Otherwise, his ex-wife, I guess, would be taking the next role. But now he also has to consider Steven's fate. Like it's like 3 different things piled on top of it. And you're gonna feel for him.
That's what makes it really good. This show is that he has so much stuff on his shoulders, like you said, and we get to see that unfold. And then also dealing with Steven, like constantly just like telling him this is wrong, we shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, like why did you bring me into this and stuff like that.
The thing I'm really curious about though is because things that haven't been answered yet is one, who's Steven been calling? Because Steven kept calling people that he said were his mom, dad. But they never answered. He kept leaving messages.
So that's why it's interesting when his mom said like, "Oh, so you're talking to your mom again," and stuff. So I'm thinking he's calling Mark's mom, but Mark's mom's not answering because of what happened, I guess, in the past and stuff.
So it'll be an interesting piece to kind of keep looking at.
Yeah.
I think it's only 6 episodes. You guys said
6 episodes.
So
we're
almost halfway.
Cool.
Almost halfway, and so far I'm excited. The costume looked really sick though.
Yeah.
Even Mr. Knights.
Even Mr. Knights, I liked how, and then it's so great to see Oscar Isaac does a great job of like showing the different mannerisms. Like when you see with Steven and how he's kind of like awkwardly like, putting up his face. Yeah, come on. He's all like, you little ragamuffin. He's all like,
And he even does this.
Yeah.
He does this, in which I was like, what is this, the 1940s? Like, what are you doing, dude?
And then when like, when Mark's in control, it's just more confident, just kind of like more like, yes.
He's got range, and it's really good to see
it's
that.
It's more of his like military training. Yeah, it's really sick.
It's really cool. I love how Oscar Isaac is doing, especially in the voices as well too. How he's like you know that Steven's like very kind of like very just like soft. He's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
And Mark's just more like in control, and he's just like, we can do this.
Mark's got a lot more bass in his voice. He's got a lot more bass.
I do want to move on to another topic because we did discuss it a little bit. It was mentioned in the previews before we started the issue. It's not going to be that long of a topic because there's really not much to topic out. More disappointed than anything. No last thoughts on Moon Knight, right?
No, that's it.
No?
Nope. I'm excited to see what happens next week. I'm hoping that I'm really excited to see what Mark does with his thing. And now that he's in Egypt, what exactly that means. Like,
it's going to expand a lot more.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to go further into Khonshu.
Yeah.
And it's going to be him showing Steven what's going on.
Further confirmations that gods exist in this universe, which is great. So the piece of news that we're going to be discussing is Ezra Miller's arrest and DC putting a hold on all his future projects that he's supposedly going to be on. He was arrested for, I think, violent behavior in Hawaii for a bar
at a
karaoke
bar.
At a karaoke bar, he punched a bartender.
It's not his first offense, and in all honesty, I feel like not a lot of people were surprised that he is doing this kind of stuff.
It's like the 4th time he's been arrested for violence after drinking.
Actually, we should clarify. He's actually non-binary, so he prefers they and them.
They and them. Got it. Okay, so respectfully.
Yes.
Ezra Miller has been arrested again on multiple different occasions.
Yes.
And DC is going to be putting all his projects on hold. We did mention that I think we're all in agreement that I think it's time for DC to kind of pull the plug and say, like, look, let's just release this last movie with him. I think they're done filming, no? Please tell me they're done filming.
Oh, no, they had to do reshoots.
Oh,
God. Reshoots are still there.
Yeah. So,
but
that's
in
the
all
thing.
fairness,
Yeah.
if it's a lot of action scenes, I can always call a stunt double.
That's also true.
I can call a double, or I can do anything else. I mean, luckily his face is covered, so we can. So if we really, really need to, we can always use doubles or CGI.
Because that's the thing is, it's in what kind of direction is this Flash movie heading towards? Like, are they going to heavily rely on Ezra Miller to be
He plays like 3 characters.
in the new
Flash, yeah, he's supposed to play like
He plays himself.
and then he's supposed to play like another version of himself, like
There's
another
like-
type of Flash.
of
There's
Barry
supposed
Allen?
to be
Yeah.
there's supposed to be at least 3 to 4 Barry Allens.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful because if it's they them,
Yeah,
can't
sorry,
be using
yeah.
him or he.
Yeah, no.
So, but can we refer to Flash as he him?
That's
Techni-
fine.
Technically,
Yes, 'cause
okay, that's what
Flash
that's
is a fictional character
Flash is
that
a
he's playing.
character. Yeah,
Yes.
he's playing. Yes.
okay.
That
So
they
we'll
are
go
playing.
there.
That does identify.
When we
as
refer to
as he.
Ezra, we'll say Ezra.
Yes.
Because,
I that's why I'm.
we're
referring to him
learning,
as Miller.
ladies and gentlemen.
We are learning.
You're learning.
Yeah.
You,
Don't. Nope.
we'll have this conversation off camera.
Yeah.
Another one to add to the wall on Twitter. There we go.
Anyway,
Reason number 5:
So-
Nick got canceled.
So
Okay.
apparently, Ezra has always been a very problematic person on sets.
yes.
Yeah. They
Apparently-
have been. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he wasn't great on Justice League. Apparently he was a nightmare on Flash. Yeah, I mean, I apparently when he drinks, he just turns into a dick.
So what was the whole point of bringing him on as Barry Allen? Like
He
what
was
did-
because he was in a lot of Warner Brother movies.
okay.
Because he was
So
already
he
in
had
the
his
They
fan
were. They were doing a lot of movies and stuff like that
with
They-
Ezra.
Yeah, because
and
they were in Perks of Being a Wallflower. Weren't they also in Dunkirk?
Look up
Or-
his filmography. But I know he was doing a lot of films with Warner Brothers, and so he it's kind of like what's it called? Ben Affleck. Warner Brothers and him had a good
They
partnership.
had a good relationship.
They had a great relationship. He was an actor that they could count on, so they picked him as the
Hold
Flash.
on, I'm gonna put it in.
It just like okay, so
Because Warner Brothers has like this tendency of picking the same actors once they like do really good.
if they're in
thing.
their circle,
They very much have an inner circle of like we're going to continuously use this director or continuously use these actors
What-
for projects.
what did you find?
Before they did Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, he's been in he's been in all 3 Fantastic
Yeah.
Beasts.
Because
Perks of Being a Wallflower. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Warner Bros. movie. Trying to
Some
see like
TV
any
stuff from
more.
what I'm
Yeah,
seeing.
Yeah, he was
Californication. They were in. So the big break they got was. It seems like they were in We Need to Talk About Kevin. That was a well-known underground like thriller movie that they did and stuff. So, but after that was Perks of Being a Wallflower. So that's what they got their spotlight.
So he was a young face. What was it? He's a good actor. He's fun. Mm-hmm. I
they're
enjoy.
fun. They're fun.
They're fun. Sorry.
Yeah, he kept saying he.
Yeah, I was
So-
like-
I apologize. Ezra Miller he's a fun actor.
It's hard. I mean,
It's not because I'm not trying.
This
It's not
is
that I'm
why
not
we're
trying.
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
It's
why
not that
we're
You're
I'm
not
learning.
doing it
I'm
purposely.
not doing it on purpose. It's an accident.
Point being is that Ezra Miller needs to be replaced. I think we're all agreeing on
I-
that.
A lot of fans are claiming that they should replace them. Yeah,
and
I just think Grant Gustin just
and
do
who's
it.
Grant
and
Gustin?
and Grant Gustin is
He's the Flash.
Is the Flash on the DCW show?
Grant Gustin is a very humble person. I feel like because he's a very good Flash.
He's a solid Flash.
He's a very good Barry Allen, a very solid Flash. He's got that, physique. He's got the personality. I don't see why DC wouldn't bring him on.
He's already got an audience.
He's got the audience. He's got the fans. So why can't we just bring him onto the big screen?
Because
Or is Warner Brothers just not willing to make a smart decision?
Well, I mean, that's kind of in general. They don't do smart decisions right away.
You just angered a bunch of
but-
people.
no, but I the reason why I feel like Grant Gustin is a solid choice is for one, Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin have already met.
Yeah.
Both Flashes have already met in Infinite Crisis. They already established that the Zack Snyder universe is connected to Flash's universe, to this universe. And I just think it'd be an interesting idea of them going, all they really need to do, shoot the same, have exactly the same Flash movie, have exactly the same thing. have Ezra Miller running back to his own universe, trying to finish everything, while you see thousands of other Flashes running all back to their own universes, and then when they smash together, it's now Grant Gustin. And you see Grant Gustin, you see like Ezra Miller's, you see all these other things. And then add Grant Gustin in a scene, and boom, you're done. Just call it a day, and then Grant Gustin is our new Flash.
To wrap up this topic, I'm going to ask you guys one big question leading into that, or backing up, or piggybacking off what you just said, right?
Yeah.
If they ended up doing this, right, and we need to do another set of reshoots with Grant Gustin, would this movie with its multiple delays be as bad as Morbius?
No, I don't think it's going to be bad as Morbius. I think though it's going to be it's going to be either how like Dawn of Justice was, where it was like there was so much to put in and so much to re-edit, that when we see, like, if they release ever like a director's cut and it's much more better flow of a movie, as of to like how Dawn of Justice was, where it was like, well, you know, we're doing this thing, but then, you know, we're gonna move that from basically here and stuff like that. But oh no, we're kind of go like reference this back here that never was shown, but we're just gonna mention it and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Dawn of Justice was highly restructured, like multiple times,
and I feel like the Flash is gonna be maybe like that.
Here's hoping, because in all honesty, I think all of us, even if you're not a big DCEU fan, like we've all been waiting for this Flash movie to just come out already and show us something that's, you know, beneficial to this universe that they're trying to build.
The interesting thing is that, because you can technically have it that Zoom has been messing with the timeline. And then, you know, you have Grant Gustin and he's transforming into other Flashes.
That'd be cool.
Because then it would be, and I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really cool if you just have like him turning into different actors and stuff like that. And then he's Grant Gustin. And then it's like, what's going on? Like, why are you like that?
That's why I think, honestly, the second Barry Allen in that movie is Zoom, but just in a different...
You think he's
able? I think he's able to change himself, and
you think that is Zoom?
I think so. I think that's going to be Zoom, but it's not going to be Ezra. I mean, it's not Ezra Miller playing Zoom, but it's just Zoom disguised himself as Barry to kind of, because I feel like because Zoom's like always wants to see stuff right in front of him.
So do you think it's Reverse Flash or Zoom? Because they're two different. Because those are two different things.
I think it's Reverse Flash.
Because it's Reverse Flash. I think it's Eobard Thawne, not Zoom.
Yeah.
Because Zoom is a completely different Flash or Reverse Flash. And I think that you need to have that Eobard Thawne, because Eobard Thawne is the one that kills Barry's mother.
Yeah.
And we have to have that scene, because we haven't had that scene of like, oh yeah. Which is also weird too, that like no one's mentioned the fact that Barry saw everything. Like he saw yellow lightning that night and everything else. They've never mentioned it. They just kind of go like, I know you didn't do it, and they never say why. So it kind of just makes Barry seem like, I just believe whatever my dad says.
There's a possibility that we might be seeing something good coming out of Warner Brothers to help out the DCEU with this Flash movie, because it's hard to not believe that they're not going to use Grant Gustin in some sort of way in this movie, because you can't tease Ezra Miller in the Flash TV show but then not do the reverse in the Flash movie.
Exactly.
So you have to have him there. And if he's already there, that's your gateway into giving Grant Gustin the opportunity to be the headlining Flash for future DCEU movies.
Which is also interesting too, because when he shows up inside of the when he shows up in the Arrowverse, it's the first time that he ever did it. Where he tried running on the treadmill, and then he appears in the Flash TV show.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm."
They've acknowledged each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, but also the Grant Gustin's Barry Allen is the one that calls him the Flash.
Also, we have to consider the fact if Warner Brothers is willing to dissolve the Arrowverse and just kind of make it, because that's the thing is that Warner Brothers can be smart.
For 2 more seasons.
For Flash?
He's already going on for season 9.
Then I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, Grant Gustin is confirmed to be in the movie.
Okay, there you go.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
It's on there. Google says
No way.
Google does not lie.
He's already confirmed to be in the movie?
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
And he's like the 4th person to mention, along with, so the first one is obviously Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, Grant Gustin.
Cool.
And then you have Supergirl.
Just,
Look,
I'm telling you right now, just replace him, throw Grant Gustin in, and be like, screw that guy. That guy's a dick.
No, honestly,
Grant Gustin, you're awesome.
So if DC can redo its entire lineup with a new 52 and Flashpoint, then I think that Warner Brothers could be smart enough and do it. We just got to put some sort of faith in it.
Aquaman's dad is in here. He's playing as Tom Curry, which is Aquaman's dad. Oh, okay.
Maybe, you know what it could be? It could be the idea of Aquaman doesn't exist, or Aquaman's mom never came to the surface, and then he's running around trying to find them.
General Zod's in here too.
There you go.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could.
So you know what? They are doing a Flashpoint paradox then because I'm gonna see. It looks like basically like there's like a dystopian world, or maybe it's a world without all the superheroes in it.
Yeah, without like
Superman
and everything
Aquaman
else,
and stuff like
and
that.
that could be Ben Affleck's world, or it could be Keaton's, depending on whatever it is. But I think that would be kind of interesting to see. Like, oh yeah, we have like he goes to go talk to Curry, and he goes, I need to talk to Arthur.
Wait, Matthew McConaughey's in this movie.
Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey. He's uncredited. You think he might be Reverse Flash? All right.
I've never wanted something so bad.
So now you just hyped up this movie to a point that
Oh my God,
we can't back out of it now.
Dude, I swear to God,
and it's
if McConaughey, if Matthew McConaughey,
Gal Gadot's in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means that we are going to get maybe an Aquaman,
Wonder Woman
clash.
But the interesting thing is it might be Steppenwolf came, and she's been bent to his will,
probably,
and she's been touched by the mother box, and that would be interesting too, of an evil Wonder Woman.
Look, we got it.
Or can we get Red Sun Wonder Woman?
We got it. Oh, maybe.
Where we get like a Russian or a German.
That'd be cool.
Like a German.
Look. We got to roll it back.
That'd be sick.
We got to unwind because right now we're hyping up this Flash movie to something that might not be possible.
Why? Grant Gustin's gonna kill it.
He might. He might.
Matthew McConaughey's like, all right. New timeline. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Sorry, I killed your mom.
That's the news.
I killed your man.
I killed your mom, baby.
That's the
All
news
right.
on Ezra Miller and how they just completely messed it all up. And
I broke Nick.
I just want to see him put his hand down, and it starts to vibrate. And he's just like, all right.
No, it's this. It's vibrate.
I just killed your mother.
I just killed your mother, baby.
Don't you?
You know which
don't
reliable
think I wouldn't do it to you too, Barry?
Batman.
Do you know which reliable Barry? A Lincoln. And then he just kills his mom.
Like this. You know what, Barry? He's just doing this from the car commercial. Timelines like this. It's very fragile.
I really want like him like yelling at Barry. I really want him to yell at Eobard Thawne, and he's just like, Barry.
Do you guys want to talk about Attack on
Speed
Titan?
Force, Barry.
Do you guys want to talk
This is
about
how the Speed Force works.
This is how it works. You feel it? It's in your heart. You see a beat, and he goes faster. You feel the energy.
You guys want to talk about Attack on Titan? And he's been hyping it all up. We're almost out of time, and over here he's still making jokes about Matthew McConaughey.
Because you haven't seen Attack on Titan.
No,
Attack on
that's
Titan.
fine. I'm not probably ever going to watch it.
All right, so over the week, over last week, we had the ending of the second half of Attack on Titan's last season.
The second third.
Yeah, so it's
The second part of the
it's-
third of the final season.
so literally this season of Attack on Titan was called Attack on Titan: The Final Season, and then they split it up into 3 halves.
No, that wasn't the original plan. The original plan, according to how they advertised it, was Attack on Titan was going to have a final season split into 2. That's how it was originally advertised.
And there was,
So,
yeah.
but the thing, the problem is that so my buddy who has read the manga, literally went. By the time we got to the end of the second half, he was like, "We haven't even got to the part where I was when I stopped reading the manga, and there was a lot. Like there was a lot of manga to go.
So there's like a lot more fights.
There's a
Yeah. And then like Eren does some crazy stuff. And there's like people confronting each other and stuff. It's
Well, okay,
Then why
so-
do you call it the final season? If you're
because
not
it's
gonna
bad marketing. No,
No, honestly,
or is
I
it
think
good marketing because it made it relevant?
it's not, because you know what? Honestly, what I really thought was we were gonna get two halves of a season. We were gonna get, and that was gonna be the final season, and then we were gonna get one epic movie, and that movie was gonna be very like Evangelion-esque, where it's just like
it's like an event.
It's an event. We're watching this movie. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, and then not only that, but also now this final season has technically taken almost 2 years. Like it shouldn't take this long. I get that the first half of the season was delayed because of COVID, because people were animating out of their homes.
Yeah.
Then the other part of this, it wasn't affected as much. Everybody was going back to work, but also the studio that is doing Attack on Titan did suffer a lot of lawsuits for work conditions and stuff like that, and how they were mistreating their staff. So that kind of does make sense. The only problem is that now we are stuck with this hanging fruit that is the final season of Attack on Titan, in which
I feel like they did end it. If they were to end it,
it was
on
a good
certain
place to end.
This was a really good place to end. Honestly,
So to kind of like bring in the importance of why this might have been split up into 3. Let's say it's split up into 3 because we don't know. Part 3 might come out and be like, guys, there's still a part 4, and it's like, dude, how much are you going to dilute this?
Part 3 isn't coming out until 2023.
So part 3, supposedly how they said it, is the final.
This will
the
be
final part of the final part.
They said this is
the final
it.
stretch.
Yeah,
So
final
where
stretch.
did the final season start and then end in part 1 that made it justified
so
to have a part 2?
To say that, you have to explain that basically.
What
season
about
before
Attack on Titan do you know?
Yeah.
That's my question.
You only got to season 1, right?
I got through halfway of season 1.
Okay.
You want my honest truth as to why I stopped watching Attack on Titan?
We know.
No,
but tell the
there was an
listeners.
actual reason, because I was
Okay.
talking to my friend Manny about this on Monday, I think it was.
Yeah.
Essentially, I couldn't care about certain characters that it got. Like, I couldn't get hooked on certain characters.
Yeah.
I stopped watching it when they were putting Eren on trial in season 1, and then Levi was like, "He's a Titan," and everyone was like, "Prove it!" And so he started beating him until a tooth came out. So that was the part I stopped because I don't like Levi. I have no interest in him being a jerk. I don't care. And to me, if your character is that big of an asshole at the beginning without having any sort of justification, I don't care. And if you're telling me, oh, but he kind of gets better as it goes on, great. It wasn't a good hook.
Hold on, because
go.
I will say this because I don't like Levi as a character. I understand he's a badass. He is actually a really good character. I see why people like him. Personally, he is not my favorite character.
I get why he is the second in command of the Scouts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
So the thing is that the show does not make him better, but you see his drive, you see his backstory,
And also his justification.
yes. And at the same time, it's like, okay, that's cool, but it's still not my favorite character. But he does grow on you.
I will give it another shot.
Yeah.
I just need to have it's in the backlog. I do want to finish it because I do think it is in this point in time, Attack on Titan is a very pivotal anime that needs to be watched to understand what it did to in this moment in time.
So
Go ahead, yeah.
in order to truly understand that, you have to understand what happened in Attack on Titan. So the basis, I mean, you know the main basis of Attack
You got
on
30
Titan.
seconds to give me a Sparks Notes version of it.
Oh, that's rough.
I don't think you could. Well,
If
I
you
will
were a
say
true
this.
weeb,
no, but
you'd
the
be
thing
able
is,
to do
Okay,
it.
for me, hold on. let
There's
me
so
go.
much-
let
there's
me
so
go
much
first
stuff. Go for
because
it.
I feel like
I'll add
I'm not going
anything
to talk
you
about
say.
the story. I'm talking about like going through the seasons.
Okay.
So season 1 was really good, but season 2 is very, very like we're stretching this. But the thing is that we are setting up stuff in season 3.
Season 1, I would feel, is a lot closer to Starship Troopers.
So season 1 is like, okay, this is where we're going. But season 2 is more like we need to do this to get here, to get to this point in season 3.
The fact that you say that is weird because most animes do the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the manga is stretched. We got to condense it
No.
into a tiny package.
Season 3 is possibly the most epic arc of all time in the series.
Dude, reclaiming of
Yes.
Wall Rose and was it Rose or Maria?
Walls. It's Maria.
Yeah, reclaiming of Wall Maria. By far one of like the coolest,
The most emotional and like
7
badass
episodes.
season.
Like it's such a cool 7 episodes where not only that, but also the betrayal of some of the characters that are there. There's a lot of like treachery. There's
very
a lot
emotional.
It's a very emotional moment. Once you find out what the Colossal Titan really is.
And what the Armor Titan is,
can
and
I
what
tell
they
you
do.
what the Colossal
Yeah.
Titan is?
No, I
No,
don't.
it's fine. No, don't spoil.
I don't care. It's look. I have to watch it. I will watch it at some point.
It's just
Because I feel like without that little portion, it's really hard for me to talk about the final season
well, I mean,
no, not
correctly.
yes, in
what's
selling
the
it, but-
Colossal Titan?
The Colossal Titan. So all the Titans are people.
Yes, I know that.
They're people from Marley, which is across the ocean.
Okay.
So they were sent over basically to take back the founding Titan that is with past the walls.
Okay.
Now, Aaron's dad took the founding Titan. He was able to kill the royal family, and he was able to take the founding Titan.
Okay.
With that, he is now the most powerful Titan. The only problem is that you can only activate the founding Titan if you are a member with full blood and a Titan.
So basically, what? So do you know what he means by like taking the founding Titan?
He ate them.
What? So you have to ingest either the person that has that said Titan, because so there is a Colossal Titan, there's a Armor Titan, and we find out Aaron is a Attack Titan.
Yes.
He's the Attack Titan.
And then
He's
they also have the
there's
female
specific,
Titan.
yeah. And there's a female Titan and stuff like that, and then
Beast
there's a
Titan,
Jaws
Groom.
Titan, and then there's a Beast Titan.
So who are the other Titans that we see?
Those are from another different part of like the world that knows about the
Did you
people that live in the wall.
Did you get to the training montage?
No, I don't
Like,
think
did
so.
you get to him when he's like training to be a scout?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's like in the beginning. Yeah.
Them.
I see.
There's
That's-
people. There's people within his group.
There are people within that scout
You fi-
group
yeah.
that are
Well,
people
because-
from Marley.
Yeah, because you find out
That
that
are-
Annie isn't a. Do you know about Annie or who's the female Titan?
No.
Okay, so
Okay, so Annie is the female Titan.
God,
Birdhold.
I
I
know,
think of full
that-
sports
Bir-
version.
That's a thing.
Birdhold is the Colossal Titan. He's the one that ripped down the walls, and then
Because they do mention that there is a traitor inside that's allowing
that's
the Titans.
them.
But what's great is that like you don't know Berthal or them right away because they're treated as side characters, and when they're revealed to be those Titans, you're kind of like, but the way they reveal it is such a good way, is that it's not a big epic thing. It's literally dialogue that's passing by when we're listening to the main character's
Yes.
dialogue. It's in the background, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? You
Not only
know?
that, but also like there's suspicious things that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a major battle that's going on, and then like there's one main character that you've been introduced to throughout like this season, and there's something suspicious where it's like, well, why is his gear off?
My question-
Why didn't he have Omni gear? What
Okay.
happened to it? And you can kind of see that there's been treachery that's been going on.
My question is this, because to me, a good anime is supposed to have, a very tough beginning. It's supposed to be that character that's going to be growing and adapting to the new things that is going on in the world. And, by a certain point in the series, they end up growing and
Yes.
becoming there's not a lot of death. And I think that's why My Hero worked for me, because you saw Midoriya basically grow from nobody to somebody
So-
in a good time span.
So they do that with they do that with Attack on Titan. They show the growth of characters, but for Aaron's type of character, I don't want to spoil too much, but the thing is that they show significant growth with Aaron. That's
Is
the
there
thing.
a lot of death?
Yes.
Okay, so
between then and now, or
between in the middle arcs,
Yes.
because that is my problem, is that I can't. The turnoff for me was in the first season when they're trying to go into the armory and they have this full-fledged plan. It's going to work. It's gonna it's gonna be
Yes.
beneficial. They're gonna get there. All of a sudden they initiate the plan. You think it's perfect, and everyone gets just blown out.
Think of it like this: the scout group that is going into the final season is not the scout group that started.
That's fine.
You only have like 6 members of the original scout group, and those guys are heroes. Like they are legendary heroes of the scouts.
That's fine. It's just, for me, it's annoying to see so much death with no progress, because I don't like it. It's one thing to have good story progress, which I don't doubt Attack on
Yes.
Titan has. It's another thing to say, but the action progress is going to be more involving the death of people rather than them being something better.
So the thing is that they actually do touch onto that, where they do say like, oh, well, this person died. What would it have been like if they were still alive?
Exactly.
Where would we be if we didn't do those decisions in the past? Where would we be at? So that's what I like about Attack on Titan a lot, is that they do mention like people making their sacrifices, people choosing certain ways that led to their deaths as well too.
You also get this thing of like destiny and like kind of very much of like this was a path that was already chosen. Of like the pieces have already been set. It very much it's somebody has been playing chess, and no one else knew that they were playing.
Yeah.
And they've been setting all the pieces into formation just so that way they can get checkmate. And no one knows who did it.
Or how they're going. No, don't go too much into
I think
it.
that's kind of that's a little too much. But
because honestly, when you watch those moments and those moments are revealed, you fall in love with the show even more.
True.
That's the thing.
The thing is that for this season, the beginning of it started in a place where you haven't. Because all the times you've always been on the island. You've always been behind the walls. You've always been in the island. You've always very much dealt with these people. You finally started the season in Marley, and you got to see what is across the ocean. You get to see the continent
in this final season.
In this final season, they
So
finally reached their goals of like we're gonna go outside the wall.
We made it past the wall. We cleared all of the island of Titans.
Yeah, but it's not.
So it's for the most part safe. But how exactly? What happens when we go across the island?
Yeah.
I mean, when we go across the ocean, who's out there? What are these people? Are these people worth caring about?
Yeah. What's really good is that it shows them reaching their goal, but at the same time, it's not paradise. There's still other obstacles they have to face.
Exactly.
There's very much bigger threats outside of the walls, and people are aware of them and stuff. And it's just it leads to another war, which is good.
Which also it's interesting too to see Marley very much using the Titans as just objects of war. Like they are think of Nazi Germany essentially, where they are taking over continent after continent after continent after continent, and the Titans are very much their main weapon.
And there's like a unification with different countries and stuff. It's very it has like those elements of like also sci-fi where you hear about a government overtaking stuff and like making like a unit of all these countries and stuff. And like not everyone agrees with it and stuff like that.
Because they also have like the Titan Titan youth where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to raise 5 new cadets that are in the military. We're going to raise these children, train them, make them fighters, and then they're going to be the new inheritors of the cart, which are cart, beast, armor, female, and beast Titans. And because the attack Titan got lost long ago, they don't know where it is. It's actually on the island.
So I will say this, because we do have to wrap up this issue pretty soon, and I do want to talk about the significance of this final season, and do you think it merited, having it be split, quote unquote, into 3 parts? I will say this: I will watch it, so that way when part 3 does come out, I think we can all talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Definitely watch it now or before,
because the seasons are short, right?
So so that's what I'm saying.
I think it's like 12, 14, and 30.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you now, you are gonna struggle through season 2 because it's just dialogue and it's
super dialogue.
Yeah,
I don't struggle with dialogue in anime. I struggle with stupid openings.
No, not that. I'm telling you now, the story pacing of season 2
button, I swear to God.
It's very, very awkward.
Okay.
But once you get to season 3, it picks up. It's like we're going through this now. Like this is it. We're moving forward.
But the thing is that I feel like season 2 it's a slog.
Yeah.
Just because they're building the world,
which is fine.
Building everything else.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's world building. Yeah.
I would have to say, I think in a series like Attack on Titan, I feel like there isn't a lot of filler episodes. There's maybe like in the all of Attack on Titan, maybe 7.
7 fillers.
7 episodes
that
where like
sense.
legitimately I was like, this is a filler episode. Like I don't.
Well, yeah.
This gives me more information, but I probably didn't need to watch this episode. And it would have been fine.
Quick question before we jump into the last portion of this topic. Okay.
Yeah.
Does Funimation allow me to skip the intros?
Yes.
Okay, then that's all that matters because I'll probably watch it.
So does Hulu. Hulu does too.
I don't want to watch it on Hulu because it's ads. I'd much rather watch it on my phone with Funimation on there.
Funimation does.
What? Sorry, I'm not going to watch Attack on Titan. What do you mean, Andy? I'm not watching Attack on Titan.
No, he's not going to.
Honestly,
Never.
Definitely not when you're sleeping.
No.
Honestly, if Andy were to make fun of you for this show, I have no idea why.
Dude, she makes fun of me for watching anime, even though she watches anime.
Attack on Titan is one of those shows that doesn't have like a fan service like moments in it.
No, it doesn't, which I like.
Yeah.
What's the girl's name? Mikasa?
Mikasa.
Mikasa.
She's great. I loved her. I loved her in the first.
She's actually-
the
Yeah,
first part that I watched.
She's sick. Mikasa is a
awesome.
great. She's a great character.
Great.
Sasha is a great character. There's a lot of really.
Sasha's great. Yeah.
There's a lot of really.
Hanji's awesome.
Hanji's
Sasha's the
awesome.
potato girl, right?
Yeah, Sasha.
Yeah, she's the one that keeps on stealing.
Is
meat.
she still in the final season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. Cool. All right. Now that brings me to the next question, which will wrap up this topic.
Yeah.
Does the final season merit a 3-parter?
No.
No, you could have put in. Well, no, honestly, if you take all these episodes that are supposed to be in 3, you could just extended the first part and the second part.
How long is part 1?
Can you look it up real quick?
Yeah.
Part 1.
Because if it's 8 episodes, is the animation at least improved?
Oh,
Dude, the
yes.
animation-
Then that's probably why.
Dude, they threw some money at it.
That's probably why.
Well, yeah,
They definitely threw some
because
money
you'll
at it.
see that they changed studios. By the time season 4 or the final season starts, the Titans are more CG looking, but more animated CG looking. It's really good.
It's a nice mixture between 2D and CG.
Because it makes it faster for them, because the way that they have them fight in the final season, they had to go that route.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more moving
They're-
faster. They're
yeah.
throwing each other and stuff like that.
Which
It's Titan versus Titan instead of Titan versus humans.
that's justified, because you do kind of need, because that's the thing, is that you usually get the opposite of it, is that animes that change studios or that elongate a season usually don't have better animation. Dragon Ball Super is very guilty of that, where they prolong certain things and the animation is just garbage sometimes because they rushed certain episodes.
They take a lot of shortcuts.
Exactly. And if this is one of those animes that's like, okay, we wanted to make it a 2-parter for the final season, but we're doing 3 because we really want to work on this hard, I think that's justified. I think that's okay.
But I also think it's problems at the studio as well.
Yeah, it could be that as well.
It's also problems at the studio. Does it justify a 3-parter? As somebody who just wants to finish it and just like wants to get to the end, I don't think so. But also, I would have loved if it was a movie. I would have loved if
There's going to be a
else-
movie. You really think that the studio is going to let this series drop?
Yes, because
I don't
there's
think
no
so.
because so far what they've been doing is they've been staying very close to the actual manga itself.
It could
if I not only that, but also depending on the way that this movie the final season ends, if there's like nowhere to go, because like I said, this could very much have an Evangelion ending.
It could. Now, did the manga end in a way that was very satisfactory for the fans?
Some of the fans say no, some of the fans say yes.
That could
It's
be a
very
movie.
split.
That could be a movie,
That's very
because you
split.
you keep saying Evangelion, but do you understand that Evangelion had a very controversial series ending, and that's why they made those reduxes?
Well, yeah,
That is what I'm talking about. Is when you say an Evangelion ending, it is a very flat ending that just kind of ends at one point, and then you could reformat it with other stuff.
but I feel like with Evangelion you can do that. With Attack on Titan, I feel like you can't.
You could end it the way the manga ended. I want to say manga. It's the manga. The way the manga ends, right?
Manga.
You could, but you could also push, and this is where I'm going to say it. I haven't read the manga. I haven't seen the series, but I will say this as someone that, does watch arcs and sees them towards the end. If the series does not end the way the fans want it to end, they could justify a movie to extend the ending and say this is how the manga ended, but we want to end it differently with the series,
So
with the anime.
I feel like if that's the case, then just have a extended episode. Do one that's past the 20-minute mark. Do one that's like maybe 30, a hard 30 or a hard 40 minutes.
But
Honestly,
money.
but
That's
also
true.
some of these episodes, they don't feel like 20 minutes.
No, they're really
They,
short.
They feel like 15. Like they feel like you feel like it burned.
Yeah.
Money.
Especially the final season. There's
Like
some parts in the final season where it's like, wow, wait, that
was 20 minutes.
yeah. So
Like I did it a number of times because I was watching it with a couple buddies of mine, where it started getting to the end of the episode, and then we were just like, no. If it ends right now, I'm gonna be upset. And then it just like, no, and then it goes black, and you're just like,
That's an anime.
I was like,
Bizarre Adventures.
now we gotta wait till next week.
That is
Now we
how
have to wait till
animes
next
run.
year.
It's like you guys have never seen an anime before. Come on, you college little weebs. You guys are embarrassing.
so
Don't make me hurt you. Don't make me hurt you.
so
A true
in-
weeb would know.
So
I swear to God.
in the final season, part 1 has 16 episodes, but part 2 has 12 episodes.
Okay.
So I mean, they're decent.
I can burn through
those
it.
Those are decent sized
All right, so we do have to wrap this issue up because
Yes.
we're about to hit. Yeah, we're pushing it. We're pushing it, guys.
Well, if we edit it out, it's going to be under 2 hours. So.
Well, it has to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push it under over 2 hours. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching or listening to issue number 93 of Keeping Up with the
93,
Nerds. Like I said earlier in this issue, we are 7 issues away from issue 100. So we are planning some stuff to come out then. Keep in mind, we do want to hit issue 100 on our anniversary for year 2, meaning that there will be an annual issue somewhere in the mix. We're still planning that. There are some videos that are being worked on that will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So follow us on YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Or look us up on YouTube at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to stay up to date with anything that does come out. And if you guys listen to our audio platforms, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Either one, let us know what you guys think. There are reviews, there's 5 stars, whatever you guys want to help support the show. Share us with your friends, your buddies, your family members, whoever thinks, that they enjoy this stuff, because we are growing very soon. We want to make stuff happen for year 2. It is a very big deal. We're pushing a lot of stuff, and we're very proud of the work that we're doing. So I think that about does it. Don't forget to check out Our Real Addiction as well. One last shout out to them, our partners in crime. They will be releasing podcasts every Thursday, and we are currently working with them to release series on YouTube. So again, follow us on YouTube, guys. Nick, did you break the clipboard?
No, I didn't.
There you go.
No, he had to look it over before.
It's
he
just
had
like,
to-
no, I did. It's perfectly fine. Anything else before we wrap up this issue?
That's pretty much it.
Excellent.
Oh, was it really quick? Another, just remind him about the movie review from Hayden.
Hayden, yes. Check out our review of X that Hayden wrote for us at our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com. He, like we said before in issue number 20 or 92, we said that he is joining us as a kind of like journalist reporter that will be writing reviews for the horror genre. So if you really are into horror, keepingupwiththenerds.com. Reviews will be up there. Sign up for our newsletter. That way we can email you guys when those articles do go up on the blog.
See, we're checking all the boxes, guys. We got all the horror fans are going to be coming in.
Except we didn't tell him to ring that notification button.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Nick's going to yell at me now.
Yeah, he is.
No, okay, perfect.
Okay.
He's not.
I'll wait until we're off. That way I can.
You. Nick, you ready to end this issue?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 93. This is Nicholas Valero.
Ryan.
What did you say, Ryan?
And Bryan.
Renee. Is that like you said, Ryan?
God, we're doing this again.
Hey, Ryan, do it better.
Sorry.
I'm
My
going
bad.
to call you Ryan from now on.
Nick, wrap it up.
This has been issue 93. My name is Nick Valero.
This is Bryan.
Renee.
Recording at Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. We hope to wish you all a good night.
Can we do that again?
No, I don't.
No,
No,
we're
I
doing
don't
it again.
want
Do
to.
it again.
I was
fight?
trying so hard.
I was
because
trying not to read it, and then I was like, but now I'm like, I give up.
Take three.
I didn't want to do it again, but I was trying not too hard to go say Brene.
Nick, take us away.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 93. My name is Nick Valero.
And this is Bryan.
Renee.
Recording at Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. We want to thank everyone for listening to this issue and hope to see you all next time.